All right, guys, welcome back to the podcast. Let's get lit. Got Tanner Chidester in here, guys. If you don't know him, I'm sure you saw his ads, especially if you're in the fitness space. He still pops up on my Facebook every damn day. I've actually bought into his program, his coaching, and I will say he's very great at what he does. It helped me out a lot, structure my business from the beginning. I'd say you, Nico Moreno, and Alex Hormozy have been the biggest drivers in my personal business. So I'll go ahead and say thanks to you on air. You'll get a copy of this. You can use it for whatever you want.
Thanks, man.
I appreciate you, dude. So let's dive right into this. Yeah. So if you can, just kind of tell the audience who you are, like a summed up story, then I'll kind of go into some question asking.
Sure. Man, I feel like I've said this story 100 times now, but it never gets old, I guess. But yeah, family of 7 kids. Mom was a stay-at-home mom. Dad was a teacher. I grew up with no brothers, older brothers, I should say. I had 2 younger brothers and then 2 older sisters. So growing up, I guess you could say I was a little strange compared to society. Got bullied quite a bit. Tea parties, dress up was kind of my childhood. So I think my dad just, he didn't see any harm in it. But when I got older, I got made fun of quite a bit. And that was kind of a hard time for me because I didn't really understand why kids were mean for no reason. That's what I felt like. But around 12, I started working out so I could beat them up. And that's my mindset was. Dude. Yeah, so my mindset was, hey, I'm going to go to the gym so I kick these guys' ass. And because I was 12, I would go before school, and then my mom would pick me up and drop me off. I just, I got pretty big pretty fast because I was going through puberty, newbie gains, all that stuff. And then people left me alone. And I really remember that being a profound moment in my life because I said, hey, I really worked hard. It was uncomfortable. I remember when I first went to the gym, it was a lot more painful than it is now because my body wasn't used to it. So I almost quit. But as I stuck with it, after about that 3-month mark, it started to be easier. And I just remember being so grateful I stuck with it. And then I started excelling at sports. So at first it was to get rid of the bullies, but then I started going on the football field and basketball court, and I was really excelling. I said, hey, I want to see how far I can take this. So from about 12 to 22, my entire life was sports, kind of like businesses now, but my entire life was sports. And then at 22, I was playing Division I football, got hurt a few times. I've had about 10 or 12 surgeries. Unfortunately, I just
Didn't you want to go to the NFL?
I did, man. That was cool.
I'm about to say, I knew quite a bit about you. And I like to do research on people before they come up on here so I can ask you good questions. But you got a great story, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And, I don't think I was good enough. I like to think I was, but I left knowing I did everything I could do. I had some scholarship offers out of high school. Some of those didn't work out. Then I went to BYU, didn't like it there. Went to a JUCO at Arizona Western for a year. Was trying to transfer to Texas A&M. A whole long story there, so I won't bore you with the details, but I did get to play with some some first round draft picks. One was Ezekiel Ansah. Another one was Randy Gregory, who actually went to the second round for the Cowboys. They just lost yesterday. But he was supposed to be a top 10 pick. And he had some issues with like marijuana and stuff like that, which is why he went to the second round. But when I left, I was really lost. I was really depressed because that was my whole life. And so when you've given your life to something for 10 years, and I did all the 2-a-days, the extra workouts, anything I could do to try to get an edge. I had lunch with a guy named David Fry. And he actually, the awards you see on the back of the screen, for those who aren't familiar, they're ClickFunnels awards. He's from that world. And he's married to Russell Brunson's cousin, one of his cousins. I think he was just looking out for me. He's a really good guy. I consider him like my second father. And he was just looking out for me and said, hey, if you drop out of school, I'll show you everything I know about business. I was extremely terrified. I did it anyways. My family was super against it. My girlfriend was against it. Her mom was against it. I think part of that was the reason why she broke up with me. I think she didn't really think I had a future, and I don't really blame her. I didn't know if I had a future, but I stuck with it. And the first 2 years, I didn't make any money. $2,000 over 2 years. So, $100 a month, if that, not even. It's terrible. But I was learning all these skills, and I didn't realize it because I learned how to build websites, how to build email automations, how to run Facebook ads. I was doing door-to-door sales, and I was a server. So right around 25, I'm about 25 now. I feel like I'm getting old. And so I remember calling my parents and I said, hey, I'm 25. I feel like a loser. I don't have a car. I live in this shitty apartment. Girls don't want to talk to me. I don't want to talk to me. It was a really hard time because I was so used to being the man. right? Being the big guy on campus. And I saw an ad on Facebook that said how to start your online fitness business. And I clicked on it, went through, got on a call, got high pressured into a $5,000 program. I didn't even know what high ticket sales were.
You do now.
Yeah, they were telling me, right? They were telling me, hey, if you don't do it today, you can't come in. I'm like, so I give everything I have on my credit card. My palms are sweaty. I go get the rest. I had $2,000 in my bank account, $3,000 on a credit card. And I went in and I just said, hey, what do I do? And they said, so just, you're charging not enough. You're $47, raise it to $1,500 and just send DMs to people. And that's it. And I remember I go, that's what I paid $5,000 for. They're like, yeah, but it'll work. I said, okay. So first week I made 10 grand. And then a year later, I did $1 million. And then I started having a lot of trainers start asking me for help. I didn't want to go into that business at first because I actually didn't like coaches.
No, God, please, no.
I really hated coaches because I felt when I was getting help that a lot of them hadn't built other businesses before. And so I had this vendetta. I'm like, I'm not going to be a business coach. I hate these guys. Like, a lot of them haven't really done very well, blah, blah,
Sounds
blah.
like college professors.
Yeah. In hindsight, it's 50-50. I think I was a little harsh now that I'm on the other side of the coin. But I started having trainers ask me for help, did 10 million the next year. And then now it's called Elite CEOs, which is anyone who wants to scale online, because I just kept having people ask for help. So a little bit of a long story. I can go into more detail, anything you want, but that's kind of my long story short. But I'm still grateful to this day, because without that mentor or just sticking through, I look at how much money I've made now compared to what I would have made as an engineer. And it's, $49, $50 million difference. I mean, it's crazy to just think of how different my life would be.
So you've now done what, a cumulative 50 million since you? Yeah,
it's a little above that now, but I feel if you change it every other week, it sounds kind of cheesy. So I'm like, hey, that's a good benchmark. Once we get closer, like 75, I'll probably start saying 75. But yeah, around 50 million plus. So pretty crazy.
Nice.
That's awesome, dude. Congratulations, first off. Not that you need to hear that from me, but dude, that's a pretty cool relationship you have, being that close to Russell Brunson.
Yeah.
That's really unique.
He's my mentor. Every time we would go to ClickFunnels, Russell would mention him on stage. He'd always say, "Is David Fry here? Is David Fry?" And so he's one of the OG marketers. He was, before the internet, or barely the internet existed, he was one of those guys doing it. And so when we go some places, people know who he is. He'll make jokes. He's like, "Yeah, I'm not really this popular. I'm only popular here." But yeah, it was a huge blessing. I think without him, I definitely wouldn't be here for sure.
100%. I'll give you that same credence. I think people shit on coaches, and it sucks to hear that. But I remember my fiance left me December 15th of 2022, and I had no clue what I was doing. I was tired of selling insurance, giving away overrides, and splitting commissions to people who violated my moral compass. And I remember I could not sleep. I was like, I'm broke. My girlfriend, my fiance left me for a good reason. Most people try to pass the blame. It was all my fault. So I like that you did the same. I come across one of your Facebook ads. It's like, learn how to do this, learn how to do that. It's like $400, 3 a.m. Like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to put this money in. Started going through your course, joined your ELA program. I was just investing in Alex Hormozy's Freed shit. Yeah. Which I love his content, dude.
Oh yeah.
I love his content, but it's like, I saw you, I joined your ELA program a month after I bought some of those free courses and just started skill stacking. So it took you 2 years to make your first stuff online, but it was like, I started off at 2,000. Yeah. Someone bought it. I doubled it and said, okay, well, if they pay 2, they'll pay 4. Doubled it again, went to 8. Then I doubled it again, went to 16. And that's pretty much been the price point ever since. But awesome, that all came from your shit, man.
I appreciate that. Well, and Alex's story is way worse than mine. Because when I was going through mine, I thought that was as bad as it could get. But part of what was crazy about Alex is he was selling for these gyms, and then they were charging back. And so he would go sell more gyms, and they're charging back. And so he wasn't getting ahead. And so his story is actually insane. But I think it goes to show all the people who have high levels of success, at some point, I think they just see the fork in the road and they push through it. So anyways, I like Alex a lot too. And I think he says a lot of good stuff. He's pretty no fluff. And he's also a very good speaker. If you notice, one of the things I admire about him as well is he's just great speaker. And so part of what I'm trying to
His cadence, his communication skills. That's why I love neurolinguistic programming. It just teaches you how to enunciate properly, how to properly use body language and physiology and really control the conversation. But you get so good at it that you make it think it was other people's idea.
Yeah, 100%. And I think when you listen to him, he's just very good at it. And when you listen to him 5 years before now, so even when, he wasn't really doing social media, he was a great speaker. So I don't know how much of it you can learn versus how much is a gift. I think it's probably somewhere in the middle, like everything in life. There's a little bit of a gift, a little bit of a skill you can learn. But he's a great speaker. And I think that's part of why he's done so well is because he obviously has a crazy work ethic, but he's a great speaker and he's a great communicator. So that's actually something I'm trying to work on when I'm doing podcasts and other things over time. I'm hopeful I get better, at communicating.
Dude, you'd love an NLP class. I know you can afford it, but it'd teach you everything you want to know about communication. Right. How to reframe and stuff like that. It'd probably be very valuable for the rest of your company as well, the training in it. But
I've heard some good things about that. I need to do it. And if I'm going to do it this year, as I've stepped out of the company, would be the best time to do it.
Well, I'd highly recommend the Tad James Company. It's who Tony Robbins sends all his people to. It's who I learned from. They're by far the best.
What's it called, the company?
The Tad James Company.
Tad James.
It saved my life. Yeah, TAD.
TAD.
I'll send it to you on Facebook.
Yeah. Cool.
But dude, you'd benefit a lot from it. And I think a lot of Alex's tonality and stuff like that just comes from his conviction. Like I absolutely, and how he talks about the goal is not to be clever, but clear. I absolutely love that.